Good afternoon, everyone. I hope everybody is doing well. It is Wednesday, June 24th. I have a couple of things I want to talk about today. But first, before I get into it, I realized on my introduction video, I didn't properly introduce myself, other than the name of my channel. So yeah, my name's Amanda. I just started really trying to get into the crochet business in the last few years. Maybe I've set up at a few markets. They've all been successful, but I've always had only like small stock. However, I'm wanting to try and increase my stock and maybe try to set up for markets a little more often. Unfortunately, we don't really have as many markets as I've seen. It seems like most people do that I watch here on YouTube. So a lot of my things have been custom orders. But right now I'm kind of taking a break from custom orders. I do believe I mentioned that in my first video. I wanted to focus more on things I want to make and focus more on markets. We have a lot of markets when it's the fall and winter season, probably because it is so hot here, and I'm sure everywhere else is, hot and they have the same issue, but we rarely have anything here during the summer. So we live in Georgia, and we're lucky to even have cold weather here half the time. It's kind of a hit or miss. What I want to talk about today is my luck that I had at a yard sale event, and I was really surprised about that. I am going to talk about that later in the video. So before I get started on it, first I wanted to show a few things that I've made recently and what I'm currently working on, and then go from there. So first, what I want to show is this little Dino drinking boba tea, or bubble tea, however you want to call it. But it's so cute. So this pattern is actually by Katie the Celestial Homebody. I believe she has her own personal website, but she also has an Etsy. And I may have gotten this pattern off of her Etsy. So, and as I said in my last video, I will link any patterns down below. I tried to link the patterns last time, but because I am new making these videos, YouTube wouldn't let me add any external links, and it said that it would need to wait on verification. So for right now, I will just put down the name of the person and where their pattern is located. But yeah, he turned out great. He's so cute. My favorite that I've been working on, for me personally, so I'm a slow crocheter, and also I struggle with staying focused on what I'm doing. So I may start something and it'll take me a few weeks to finish it. And that's another thing with doing these videos. I'm hoping it'll give me a little bit more accountability to make me focus and get things done. But these sleeping dragons, oh my gosh, I have so much fun making these. And as I said, I'm a slow crocheter, so for me the main body works out quick. It takes me a little bit to get the face made because of the nostrils and everything, but then the rest of it is a breeze. It was a little confusing with the neck and the tail, how it kind of twists. At first, for me personally, there was nothing wrong with the pattern. The pattern was great. It was very explanatory. But it's just me. I feel like I'm still a baby in crocheting. I don't think you ever 100% learn everything. It doesn't matter how long you've been crocheting. I feel like there's always something new to learn. So anyway, it just I love the colors. I got this yarn from Hirschner's, and I cannot remember the name of it, but I think it had tweed in it or whatever, but it's a great autumn color, this part of the yarn. The accent color, I can't remember where I got that from, but yeah, that is definitely something I am going to try to work better on in my videos, and which I may have already mentioned that in the last video, and I do apologize if I seem to repeat myself a lot, but I do want to keep a better list of the yarn, where I got it from, the name of the yarn, especially with doing videos. I made another sleeping dragon, and she is so pretty. I got this from Michael's, yeah. And I like how the white turned out, but I kind of wondered if I should have done a different color. Maybe a green, like how it matched to the green, like to match in the main color. Oh no. Does anyone have any suggestions? What could have been better, or does the white look good? Well, regardless, it's already made. So I do plan on making a lot more of these, but yeah, they're just I almost don't want to sell this one, because this yarn, Hirschner's, personally for me, is so expensive just to get this one thing of yarn sent. And so I think next time I'm just gonna wait till I need to get a bunch of yarn. That way I won't have to worry about paying for shipping. I mean, I know I would be paying a lot of money still, but at least I would be getting a lot of yarn in the process. Okay, so the next thing I have been working on is this little girl or guy, whatever you want to call him. It's pink, but pink can be for boys too. But yeah, so this is a custom order, and I know I already said that I'm not doing custom orders anymore, and that is true. This is part of my list that I had for custom orders that I am finishing up. So I'm at the end of the list, but I know it's looking like a derpy dinosaur right now, and my son said that this part scared him. But yeah, this is going to be a unicorn. But it's turning out well. This is actually a free pattern by 1 Cent Crochet. It's a 2-part video, but she has a tutorial on it, and also she has a written pattern on Etsy. Okay, I apologize if the angle is a little bit different. I had a phone call that interrupted my recording that I had to answer. It was very important that I get that done. So anyway, where were we? We were talking about the unicorn. Yeah, so it's by 1 Cent Crochet. I do believe I already mentioned that. But it's been fun to make. It was a little awkward for me, attaching the head to the neck. I've never done it this way before. But yeah, it was great pattern, very simple follow. So, now moving on about the yard sale. I did not expect for it to go as well as it did. Obviously, it didn't go as well as what your typical market would be. Because with yard sales, people are going there for a great deal. They're wanting to get something, you know, for $1, $2, maybe a few cents. And obviously, that is not going to happen at, you know, with crochet. My husband, he encouraged me. He was like, hey, let's set it up at the yard sale. And by the way, the yard sale, it's in a city close to us, or a small town, a little bit bigger than our town. And they set up in this huge parking lot behind the courthouse there, and several people come there bringing their truck and trailer and, you know, stuff slam packed in their car, van, whatever. And my husband and I, we do this just to make a little extra side money. He's a retired veteran, and he has a lot of medical issues, and so I stay home to kind of help keep an eye on him because of his heart problem. So we just do that on the side, and then crochet as well. That helps bring in a little extra money, at least until I finish school and hopefully get a remote job. But that's an entirely different story. That's just a little background. So yeah, we've been setting up there for yard sale on and off for about a year now, and we make decently well. And I tried bringing a few crochet items there last summer, and nobody batted an eye. I mean, nothing. I wasn't really surprised. I didn't go there with any expectations, you know. Well, my husband, he told me, he was like, just try it again, you know. And I'm so sorry if you hear like a noise in the background. That is my husky. She does not like being separated from me. But she is in the hallway with the rest of the family. However, she could probably hear me talking in here, and she's like pushing on the door wanting to come in. I feel so bad. But she gets a little rambunctious whenever I'm trying to make a video. So anyway, yeah, we set up there. Just recently we had took a short break from going, and my husband said, you should bring them, you know, and maybe do some crochet while you're sitting there. And I was like, okay, you know, I'll try it out. And that was just this past Saturday. And so I set them up, and there was actually a lot of kids there that day. And there was this huge group of kids that came up from around probably ages 12 or 13 and below. I think they were all either siblings, cousins, and they saw our table from the distance, and they were like, they just gasped and smiled real huge when they saw my things on there. And I was like, oh no, I'm gonna feel so bad, because these are going to be a little bit more expensive than your typical yard sale items. So luckily though, I made sure to have a couple of smaller items up there that would be a little bit more affordable. I had a couple of capybaras and things like that set up. And normally at a festival I would charge maybe, you know, $8 to $12 for a capybara. It just really depends. And but this time, with it being a yard sale, I was like, well, you know, I'll cheapen it a little bit more. And I've been hanging on to these items for a while. Yeah, one bought a blue frog for $5, and a young lady bought a peppermint kitten for $3. I was glad that they were able to get those items. They were very excited when they saw them, and they had their allowance money, because one of the little ones, he was much smaller, and he wanted something that was a little bit more expensive, but he didn't have any money at all. And his thought process was, he grabbed 2 of the stuffies, and I think it was a capybara and a mushroom guy that he grabbed. And he was like, how much are these? And I think it was going to be like $10 total or something like that for both of them. And his sibling, I believe, his sibling had already paid for what they wanted. And he was like, oh man, he says, I was hoping if I would have grabbed these, I think he said my sister, or, yeah, I think he said my sister. I was hoping my sister would have paid for these too. And he said, I've already spent all my allowance. I was like, well, I said, you're just going to have to, you know, keep working and earn more allowance and come visit me another Saturday. He's like, okay. So, but that was cute. That was fun. A lady, she came up, and she just thought all my stuff was gorgeous, especially the jellyfish. And she mentioned, she said, you should set up at the antique store here. Apparently they rent out booths to local artists. It can be paintings, it can be, you know, different handcraft items. She said that she had her own booth, and she makes furniture. Well, the booth, you have to pay $100 and something every month for the booth. And whatever sells, they get 10% of your sales. So I'm like, I don't know if it would really be worth it. If I had a huge stock of things, and, you know, I was bringing money in back to back, and I don't know, maybe. I would have to look at the numbers. But first hearing that, I'm just like, I don't know if it would be worth it. there were other kids that were interested in my jellyfish. Normally I would have the candy cane and the gingerbread jellyfish, I would have charged $35, $40, but I was only charging $20. And this one young lady, she wanted it, or which one did she want? I think it was the gingerbread one she wanted. And her brother, he wanted something as well. And when I told their mom what the price would be, she was like, I thought y'all wanted to get something from Walmart. And they're like, oh yeah. So they just put the stuffies back. But she did ask me what my Facebook name was, so she could add me and I guess maybe purchase something later. I don't know. But I just thought that was kind of funny. To me, the best of all, this lady, I say lady, she's probably 15, 16 years old. She's young. She came up and she just went absolutely crazy over the stuff I had made. And apparently she had tried crocheting before, but she just couldn't get the hang of it. However, she is an artist herself. She is creating her own comic book series, and she even sketches out her own characters. And she asked me, she says, do you do custom orders? And I'm like, no, not really, not anymore. And but she has her own original character that she thought would look really good in crochet. And like I said, I'm still a baby as far as crochet, and I haven't been brave enough to really create patterns yet. I guess I've dabbled a little bit. Like I've made a small jellyfish before called I called it, how'd I call it? Octopus prime or something like that. But it was basically, yeah, not jellyfish, yeah, octopus. It was a small octopus prime, because I made it to look like from the Transformers Optimus Prime. So I made it for my husband, and that's the only, as far as my own pattern, that I've ever really done. So I don't know, who knows, I might get into pattern making later on. But this young lady, she absolutely loved my stuff, and she was like, you should set up at a con. And I'm like, I want to one day. There's a con in Savannah next year that I would like to set up at, but we have so much stuff going on around those dates at that time that I don't know if I want to stress myself out about that. So it may have to wait till the next year after next. So she saw the dragons. I was working on the dragons. They weren't finished yet, but I had one that I did not show that I didn't show earlier is a blue dragon. I just made that dragon and put it on the table, and she fell in love with it immediately. And so before I could even get a proper picture of it, it was sold. I was going to sell them for probably $35, I'm thinking. But I sold it to her for $20. Just because she was so appreciative of everything. And she was an artist herself. And she had $25 to her name. And she was so excited. She was like, wow, that's a really good price. You should charge more. I was like, yeah, I know. So I let her have it for 20, and I did get a picture of her holding it, but I'm not going to show her face, but I am going to post it somewhere up here. I'm going to crop it. And when she was taking the photo, she was holding it and doing like a little pouty awe face and petting the dragon. But yeah, so it was worth it. And I may just do a lot of little, really tiny, small things for little guys that come up there. Because as I said, at a yard sale, they're expecting items to be $1 or $2 items. So I might make like little tiny dolphins or something. That I won't feel guilty, charging $3 or feeling like I'm losing money and doing that. But yeah, so I think that's it for now. My next video, I will try to remember to show the results of the derpy looking Dino, how it's looking right now, but it'll be a unicorn. But I will show the results of that, and hopefully by then I will either be making or finishing up the next thing I'm going to work on, which is my mother-in-law's cow. If you saw in my last video, I had a picture of a sunflower cow that I've done before, but this one I'm going to do a rose cow. I want to start, if I'm going to be able to do fall festivals this year, I probably should have started several months ago, because it's never too early to prep for fall festivals and things like that. And I'm trying to decide if I want to do a lot of fall themed colors or just a few. I haven't decided yet, because I think even some fall stuff would sell in the summer, because I had a lot of people actually going, when they were looking at the yard sale, they were going for the fall theme things more than just the regular colors. I did make, in total, it was about, because there's a few that bought a few more things. I think I made only maybe 30, 35 in just the crochet products that I had out there. And I know that's not a lot, but trust me, for a Saturday morning yard sale, that's a lot. So yeah, but I do think in my next video I might want to talk about upcoming fall patterns to do. And if you're watching this, then if you have any ideas, please send them to me. Anything for fall for right now, and maybe a few Christmas items. It's never too early. But anyway, that is it for today, and I hope you all have a safe and cool week, and I guess that's all.